All right, welcome back, my Miniatureholic family, and happy Thanksgiving 2024. So this week's video, I want to show you how to cook miniature food. Now, I've talked about it many times and told you that, each miniatures have their own special skills. Well, I specialize in making miniature food. So, and I try to make mine as realistic as possible as far as soul food goes. I love making miniature soul food. So today I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So for Thanksgiving, I'm just going to make a few things that I actually made for my family, but it's going to be in miniature form. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just get started. Okay, so here we go. I made a turkey with dressing, and this is one of the ones that I first made. I had to pick it up because I actually glued it down, and I made it by hand. There was no mold or anything. So today I think I'm going to try to do one without a mold and one with a mold, just to show you the difference. And then I also have corn on the cob. Let's see if I can get it a little bit closer. I made the corn on the cob, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And it has little bits of butter in it. It's so cute. I also have macaroni and cheese and a pot of greens. And then, of course, we have to have peach cobbler for dessert. And I really made this for Thanksgiving. That was like one of the first desserts that went bye-bye. All right, so this is a pot of beef stew. Now this one, I don't know if I'm going to have time to make today. I'm going to try. But if I don't, then I'm going to make a video specifically showing you how to make beef stew and make it look realistic like this. So yeah, my specialty is soul food. So if you try to get me to make other types of food, yeah, I can, but not as good as this. So let me show you how to get started on the soul food. Okay, so this is my tote of clay. I've had some of this clay for at least 10 years, literally. And if it gets hard, I do soften it with this Sculpey clay softener. I got this at Michael's. And you can also get it at Hobby Lobby's, but I got this one at Michael's. So also, when I'm done with my food, I use Mod Podge, the matte, and then here's the gloss. So that's to kind of give it a little sheen. But quickly, I want to talk to you about the types of clay. I use like Sculpey 3. Then also I use Fimo. It's different ones in here. Another Sculpey. So those are the main ones I use though, seriously. I also use paper clay. So I'm going to put a link in the description box below. And there's a lady that tells you the different types of clay and what they're used for. Because I don't want to get into that. I just really want to focus on making this food with the clay. So don't forget to look at the link below. Some of the things that you're going to need is Mod Podge. Because you'll have, it's like a gloss, a sealer. You can have matte, which makes it look like not dull, but not too glossy. It's sort of like, let me show you. See this? This is not glossy. This is kind of matte. Has a slight sheen to it. But glossy, it would be real, real shiny. And you don't want a pot roast that's real shiny. This kind of got gravy. Makes it look like gravy in the pot roast, in the beef stew. So that's what pretty much matte looks like. And gloss. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use on what. So I have two of them. Clay. Well, we talked a little bit about clay. This is the clay softener, and like I said before, got it from Michael's. You can get it from Hobby Lobby, any craft store. So even online at Amazon, and it'll soften your clay. And I've had some of my clay for years. No need to go out buying new clay when I can use what I have. Then my paints, have my acrylic paint, some brown, yellow, gold, black. And with these, pretty much dry brush. Dry brush. Like with the blanket babies that I made, I use air dry clay, so I use the chalk, pastel chalks to color them. Well, this is food and it's going to have to last longer, so I pretty much use paint and I dry brush it on. I'm going to show you a boatload of my clays that I did select out of the tote. I got some Sculpey. Some of this is still soft. So, and I mix a lot of my clays too. So here's the bulk of it. The ones that I did pick out, because see, I still have some of this brownish. Because I think I'm going to use this for the turkey, because it's close to brown and I can mess with the tone, the colors. I've made meat before, like the pot roast. I will use darker brown to make the roast. You can see that. Don't want to take them out. They're already, some of them are hard, so I have to make them softer. Like, I might just make a pot of sweet potatoes too. And that's where the orange will come in. Not sweet potatoes, candy yams. That's what I like making. There's a difference between sweet potatoes and candy yams. It's according to how you cook them. Candy yams takes a lot longer. And when you're done, it kind of got that gloss to it. That candy type flavor is so good. But I'm not going to get into recipes. I'm just going to, might end up having enough time to make some candy yams in miniature form. I used the yellow for my corn on the cob, which I didn't make that for Thanksgiving. I just want to show you how I made it. You know, I have reds, and like I said, I mix my colors. So I'm going to show you how I make each one of these. Oh, here's some brown that I also use for my beef stew or pot roast. So here's the different colors. And like I said, I have a whole tote full, as you've seen. Also, in order to make your miniature food, you're going to need an X-Acto knife. These little balls, I forgot what they call them. I got them in the bacon aisle at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, either one. And they have these little points to them. Let me see if I can see how the little ball. And this is what I'm going to use to kind of make the little circle so that the leg or wing can fit attached to the turkey. I'm going to show you. It sounds kind of like, what is she talking about right now? But I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I don't remember this tool. Some of you may know what it's called, and I don't have the packaging. So if you know, please put it in the chat below so people will know what it is. Thank you. Now, let's move on to the pots. Okay, so in order to make food, you need to know what pot or pan you're going to use. So I found this in my stash, and I think it will be great for a turkey. So we're going to use that for the turkey. Again, I got one of these, another one of these. I got several for the beef stew or pot roast. And yeah, I'm calling it pot roast, yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to have time to make that in this video. But that's what we're going to use for it. Let's say we're going to use this for the greens. And then I guess we're going to do, let's see, we got a lot of pots and pans. I've even made bread. Let me see, get this in here. You can use like a loaf pan for bread, and it's easy to make. I don't know if I'm going to have time with this video, but we'll see. I'm going to make another food video. Let's see, what else? We can actually make like a peach pie or peach cobbler in this little pan. Might find something a little different, but right now this will be the one for the peach. Let's see. We can, let's try, okay, we'll use this pot for the corn on the cob. And again, I didn't make it for Thanksgiving. I just want to show you how I made it. So again, this gonna make some dressing too. So that's gonna be turkey and dressing. And we're gonna use this little pot right here for the macaroni and cheese. Now I may switch up the pot for the macaroni and cheese and the I don't know, corn on the cob. We'll see when I get to it. So now I want to show you some of the molds that you can use. All right, so this is a turkey mold that I got years ago, and I do not know the site that I got it from, and I mean it's like over 10 years. And the first turkey that I did was by hand. I crafted it myself, and I just showed you that one. This one, I'm going to show you how to do it mold form, and we'll see how it turns out. This one, I don't know, I think this one may just be a little bit too big for this right here, so we might just have to freehand it, but I'm still gonna make it just to show you what it looked like, because we can always put it on something bigger. But if you go online, like Google miniature turkey molds, and you might just find it. I'm so sorry, I do not keep it with these sites. It's been years ago, so just like with the blanket babies, just go on there and type it in and you should be able to find it. I'm sorry I don't have the link. It's been like over 10 years. All right, and so here's some more molds. Like I got bread loaves, I got even French bread molds, and oh, here's some little shell. Like if you want to make some shell molds for some type of scenery. I mean, it's all kind of molds. 1/12 scale is what you're looking for, a 1-inch scale. See, all kind of molds. So I might make one of these bread loaves. So we'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. This is literally how I make greens. So you know the fake flowers at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I literally get the little leaves off of them and I cut it up and put it in a pot with matte Mod Podge. So I'm going to show you how I do it, because you know greens have stems, and if you look at the back you see the stems, and I want some of that in my greens. So just cut it up. Didn't know it was that simple, huh? It's not difficult. You just have to be creative. And I've had these little leaves for years, because I have some fake flowers that I have in another area of my arts and craft room, and I keep them. I keep stuff around because as a true miniaturist, you just never know when you're going to need it. And it's better to have it not need it than need it and not have it. So that's my motto. So again, just cut it up like you would real greens and put it in a pot. Now, here's the greens. So I'm going to put them in the pot, and then I'm going to add the Mod Podge and mix it up. Alright, so take the Mod Podge and a little toothpick. And this does dry clear. So, but I'm thinking I could put this in here, but I'm going to try something else. Let me see. Hold on. Something just came to mind, and when it comes to mind, I'll listen. Otherwise, I'll regret it. But let me try something else. Hold on. I want to try what's called triple thick, because it's already clear and it has that perfect kind of not too shiny gloss to it, but it dries clear just like the other green. I'm just going to take a little bit and put it in the pot. Hold on. Let's see. Put this a little bit more. Come on, a little bit more. There we go. A little bit. Uh-oh. I think I did too much. Hold on. Oh, boy. But I have to mix it too. So, there we go. Mixing it up so you can see the greens and get it in there like this. Again, it's called triple thick, and of course you can get it at any hobby store. Hobby Lobby, Michael's. And then there's the greens. Okay. Alright, so yeah, that's the triple thick. I think it's better than Mod Podge. It just came to me. I'm glad I thought of it. Okay, so there's the greens. When it dries, it'll be clear. You can see it even better. And it'll end up looking like that. So that's how we make the greens. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to get started on the turkey so it can be baking while I'm working on some of the other food. So we're going to do the mold first because once it's shaped, I can set it aside and work on the freehand turkey. So this clay, I didn't have to use any of the clay softener. And I literally had this for years and it's still soft, but I keep them in plastic bags and in a tote. So now that it's soft, and I like this color because it's kind of, it looks like meat almost. So I'm going to stick it in this little mold. Had to tear some off. Push it down in there. Push, 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 push. Just like with the blanket babies that I did. Push it down in there so that it can get into every part of the mold and it'll have the lines. You definitely want that. And any excess, you just peel off. Because you want the bottom to be flat. Okay, so I'm going to try to work with it a little bit more and get all those little bitty cracks filled in. So that way it'll be full. Okay, now that I got it like this, I'm going to lay it flat and kind of push it like that. See? Boom. So what happens next? We're going to try to push it out and hopefully it has the shape of the turkey. So here we go. It's like the blanket babies kind of. Okay, gonna push it a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and try to get it out. Here we go. Come on. Here we got it, yay! Here we go. So now we have a turkey. See it clear? So we actually got the leg and the wings, and that's the turkey. So we're gonna bake it just like that. One thing you're gonna need though, you're definitely gonna need a glass dish. I've been using this glass dish for years, and that's how I bake my clay. And I bake it on 275, sometimes 250, and no more than 10 or 15 minutes. So let's say 275 for about 10 minutes per quarter inch thick. So this is not too bad. So we're going to put that to a side, and then we're going to freehand it. And I don't use this glass dish for anything but baking my clay. I would not advise you to cook food in a glass dish, any type of dish that you cook, that you bake your clay in, because if you do, you know, you don't want to deal with toxins. Okay, so let's put this aside. Now we're going to freehand. And I'm going to try to match it up to be the size of this pan, which is going to be smaller. So we're going to make the body first, and then we'll make the legs and the wing. So you literally got to work with it. Okay, that's good, because then I can add some dressing with that. Okay, that's good. So kind of roll it like the body of a turkey, like, and then down here I want the legs to go and maybe the wings on the side. So that's what this tool comes in handy at. So I'm going to take the big ball in, and the size that I want my leg on, hold on, now I gotta, hold on. This clay is so easy to work with, and it's still soft after years of being in a plastic bag. So what I want is I want my leg like right here. So I'm making a little hole so that I'll know where I'm going to put my leg, and it'll go right in there. Because I'm just going to add some maybe triple thick to it. Might not even have to do that because it's clay. I can actually mold it around the leg. And maybe up here, the wing. On this side, the wing. So I got the holes where I want them. And they're not perfect, but I'm freehanding. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay, so we're going to do the legs. So all I did was take a little piece of clay, kind of rolled it out, and I'm going to cut it. Cut it into 2 pieces. And one end of it I want to stay kind of thick, like a leg, and the other not so thick. Alright, so let's see if we can stick this right here. And then we're going to take the little ball. This is freehanding, y'all. Freehanding. Kind of mash it into the little hole around the edges of it so it'll stick. See, we're getting a little leg, a little turkey leg. And so, like this right here, I want this thinner. I don't want it that thick. There. Okay. So I'm going to put the other leg on, and then I'll show you how I do the wing, and then we'll put the other wing on, and then I'm going to mess with it a little bit. But you kind of get the gist of it. All right. Work on the other leg. 2 legs. And no, it's not perfect, but it's turkey legs, and I'm freehanding it. What I want to do is before I put my wings on, I want to give it some texture, because turkeys, they're smooth, but they're not that smooth. So this little tool helps a lot, and it comes in a set, so they're different sizes, but this is perfect for miniature. But I want to go ahead and give it a little texture, because turkeys are not so smooth that it's just like, you know, it does have some texture, not a whole lot, but still I want to take this little toothbrush and barely just go around it. That way it looks like it's got a little bit of texture to it. And this is before I put my wings on. And just texturizing it, that's all. It's the details. I don't want it totally smooth, because no turkey is totally smooth. All right, so what I want to do is, because the neck of the turkey, it has a dent in it, like where the head was. So there we go. Here. See? And that's where the head was. Alright. Now we can put the wing on. And I kind of got the wing, hopefully right. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And it'll look a lot better when I'm done, but here we go. So molds can be much better, but sometimes freehanded can be fun. So here we go. Alright. Okay. Alright, so with the wing, it's kind of tricky. I just kind of roll it, and then fold it. So I rolled it, and then like this. Hold on, let me see if I can. So it's kind of like this. You kind of bend it, and so I'm going to just stick it on like right here. There we go. Now I need my little ball, and I'm gonna see if I can get a little closer. So that's the wing. I know it looked like, what is she doing? But that's my wing. Okay, and so you smooth it with this little ball so it'll blend into the turkey. And you don't have to worry about it getting dirty or discolored, because you're gonna paint over it. You won't even see it. So there, we got one wing. So I'm gonna put the other one on, and then I'll be back. And now we have a turkey, a freehand turkey. So you see the bottom with the legs. There's always an opening between the legs of the turkey where the giblets are. And then you got your little wings and the opening at the head. Not bad for freehanded. Okay, so here's both turkeys. The freehand one, and the molded one right here. So I'm going to bake both of them for about 15 minutes on 275, and then I'll show you what they look like. And then I'm also gonna texture this one just like I did this one. If you can, I don't know if you can see a little bit more. It looks more textured. Yeah, so it might be hard to see, but yeah, you kind of see the little dents in it. So I'm gonna do the same thing to this one, and I'm gonna bake them. And while they're baking, I'll start on something else. I want to show you how to make some bread out of one of these molds as well. So take a piece of clay, any color clay really, because you're going to paint it. So I chose the same color as I did the turkey. Because let's say I want wheat bread. So press it in, keep pressing, turn it upside down like I did the turkey. Press down, press down. I want to try to get as many of the lines from the bread as I can. Okay, so I have it the way I want it. And the main thing is to make sure that it doesn't overflow on the edges, because then you're going to have to shave it down. And it's just an extra step that you really don't want. Okay, so scrape some of this over to the side. Alright, so let's push it out. And let's see. Looks like I got more edge than I possibly wanted, so let's see what happens. There we go. Loaf of bread. So, but we got to get the edges off, because if you leave the edges on, it kind of look like a bug. So I'm going to take my X-Acto and then trim some of the edges off. And my favorite tool, I'm going to figure out what this is called. It's been a minute since I used it, so it's, and you mess with it with your hands a little bit, make it look a little even, and then you have your loaf of bread. These molds are amazing, and it saves a lot of time. Now you can literally freehand this, and it'll be just fine. So I just want to show you how to make bread with these molds. I'll mess with this. I'll mess with this a little bit more, and then we'll paint that too. All right, put that to the side. Let's try to make some corn, okay? This is a little hard, but I'm gonna use the heat from my hand to soften it. So I still do not have to use that clay softener because it is messy. All right, good. So we got some yellow. So we're gonna take this, and I'd say about that much. Roll it, just shape it like a corn. So we're gonna need the pot, and we can't make it bigger than a pot. So let's see. That is too big. No. So we had to make it smaller. Don't want gigantic looking corn, look like GMO was put into it. Okay, that's better. Now what I do with my corn, now I'm not gonna make a whole pot of corn. I just want to show you how I make my corn. So all I'm gonna do is draw lines around it like it's corn. Okay, we got the X-Acto knife. You want to be real careful because you don't want to cut yourself. So all I do literally is go around the corn with the X-Acto knife to make my lines. See? And then I do another. Let's see if I can, so you can see this. Another one, another line. Go down again, another line, and let's see, get another line, and you just keep doing it all the way down. Okay, so we got lines going that way, so but then you know corn is not shaped like that, so you need to go down. Oh, this is so tiny. I'm trying to get you to see it as well, so go down a little bit, turn it, go down some more. See, this is my corn. This is the corn. Let's see if you clear. So, and you still work with it to make it deeper. Now, you can also use the back of the X-Acto, but either way, it's going to be just fine. I'm comfortable with the front of it because it makes deeper grooves in the corn. But that's how you make your corn. So yeah, I'm not going to make another pot because corn is not a favorite of my family. But I did want to show you how I make it. Okay, so now we're going to move on. Okay, so this is really easy. I'm going to use this for my candy yams. And it's really easy. You just take a chunk of orange clay and you cut it in the sizes you want. Because when I make candy yams for real, for Thanksgiving or anytime, I cut them in chunks. Different shapes is what the potatoes will be. So I'm cut it like that, and there. So now you got sweet potatoes, literally sweet potatoes, miniature, and you put them in your pot. Let's see, these sweet potatoes, and make a couple of more pieces because I want to fill the pot. There we go. Now we have sweet potatoes. Now what are we going to do with that? I'm going to add some triple thick. And this is old. I've had this for years. You can tell by the bottle. But triple thick. Add some of that to it. And then I'm going to take some pastel colors and just scrape some on there and make it look like it's cinnamon. Then we'll have our candy yams. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Got my triple thick. Put a little bit. Ooh. Alright. And you know what you can also do? Instead of fighting with this pot, you can dump it out on this wax paper and it'll save you some time. But I'm going to leave it in here. And we're going to have some candy yam. Because if you make candy yams in real life, they have that little gloss to it. Versus sweet potatoes, you cut them up, put them in a pot, and put some sugar, butter, cinnamon, nutmeg, whatever you want to put on it. And people just mash it up. It's just sweet potatoes. Candy yams, something at a whole different level. Got that gloss and that candy type texture and flavor. Oh my God, it's so good. Those went too. That was another thing that went really fast was the candy yams. So now I'm going to get some pastel. Let me see. I'm going to get some pastel and then shave a little bit on it to make it look like cinnamon. So we have the orange to represent our candy yams. Got that little gloss look. So now we have the pastel. So we got brown. So just shave just a little bit over it. Okay. Just to give it a little cinnamony look to it. And in there, candy yams. Don't know if you can see it. Some of that little brown. Don't want too much. I don't put a whole lot on mine. So that represents the cinnamon. We're going to let that dry. So now we're going to start messing with macaroni and cheese. So I picked this color because it's kind of orangey. And it looks like macaroni and cheese once you mix the sauce with it, like the cheese sauce. So just messing with it, trying to soften it up. And what I'm going to do is roll it. Right, so it's easier just put it in the palm of your hand and just roll it back and forth. And I don't want it too thick because I want it to fit in the pot. So I'm just going to make me some slices of macaroni. Just cut it off. This is what we call a cane. Like a line of an item like lemons or oranges. We would make a whole cane of it and then we would cut into the slices that we wanted. And I'm going to show you what one looks like too. Okay, so now that's the macaroni. Give you a closer look. Alright, so this time what I'm going to do, the triple thick seems to keep coming out really thick. And you know, keep plenty of toothpicks around. Come in real handy. So I'm just going to take some of this off. And this time take my time and put it in the, pot. Then I'm going to add the color and then I'm going to add the macaroni. So Let's see if we try it that way, because it's been a long time since I've done this. So let's get some yellow. All right, some yellow. Get it in there and change that color. And if we have to add just a little bit of orange, then we will. But I don't want it to look like candy yam, so we got to make it look like cheese sauce. See, that's more like it. That's more like, but I want it more yellow than that, honestly. We're going to keep working with it till it get the color that I want it to get. All right. Let's go ahead and add the macaroni. Little pieces of macaroni. Come on. Okay, so we got the macaroni in, and we got the cheese sauce. We're not going to cook this because it's in triple thick, and we don't need to. It's going to harden. There we go. Yeah, and that looks more like it. Now we're going to scrape a little bit of, just somewhat orange on there, but not a lot at all. Let's see. Just a little bit. Mix it. There, and that looks more like, yeah, that looks more like macaroni. I like that. That looks more like macaroni. Alright. Now, if we wanted to have baked macaroni, then we can add a little brown on it to make it look like it's been baked. So, let's try that. Oh, very little. Very little. Just a little bit. Just. Okay. Okay, so now that makes it look like it's been baked a little bit. I want some over here on this orange. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. And I'm going to clean it up around the edges. But I think I have one of them that's still trying to dry, but it has a little bubble, and I want to show you what it looks like. You have to keep an eye on them. So, the candy yams. Notice the little bubble? I had to pop it and move that over. So every once in a while, just keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing bubbles up. That comes from me not mixing it well, making sure that it's all covered. You don't want to have to keep messing with it too much. But you don't want bubbles. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Now, this is what we call cane. So we make, you can make like oranges or apples or any type of cane, and then you roll it up, and if you look at this, it looks just like an orange, and this is actually a lemon cane. So when you cut it, just take it and you cut it with your X-Acto. And it should be a little thinner than that, but I just want to show you. See, that's an orange cane. And you can put it with your food on a side of plates. Not an actual round orange or the lemon, but these are just the canes. So I just want to show you what they look like. Alright, so now we're ready to make the peach cobbler. Now, peaches can be kind of orange yellowish, or some just yellow with a little kind of like white. But the last peach cobbler I made, I kind of made it more orange yellow. See, this one I'm going to make more yellow, because I love my peach cobbler, and I've had both colors. So what I'm doing is just going to cut it. These I'm going to bake, because I need to bake it, because I'm going to make what they call that, crust for the bottom of the pan, and then some on top. So let's see if we can fill the pan up with peaches. And you know they're kind of curved, but it really ain't gonna matter. And the main thing that's gonna matter is what's showing when I cut the crust. That's what's gonna matter. So these are just gonna be fillers, basically. As far as the shape goes, I may make 1, 2, 3 of them to be in the front to make it look like peaches. And so I'm going to take this one. That's my oven going off for the bread, miniature bread. I'm going to make a curve with this one. And same with this one. And sort of with this one. Cut this one right here. So I got my peaches. So I'm going to fill this pan up and see what I got. So fill the pan up with my peaches. And these I'm going to keep out because when I cut the crust, then I want it to look like a peach. So that's pretty good. I'm going to put that in here. This is the curved one. Okay, so I'm taking a piece of translucent clay and I'm going to make the top of it, which will be the crust. And then I'm going to cut into it. So I need to take a few, well, when I cut into it, then I'll take some out. Because I just want a little piece. I thought about it. There's no need in putting a piece on the bottom. Because you're really not going to be able to see it anyway. So I'm going to spread this out as much as I can. And put it on here. And make it the same size as the pan. And see how the little lump is in the pie crust? I like that because it looks like there's like pie in there, right? And I'm going to bake the pie inside of this pie pan. And I don't have to worry about this part. It's going to get painted. What I am going to do is I'm going to cut a piece out. About right here. And pull it out. There we go. Now, see how I have that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bake it just like this. When it's done, I'm going to paint it, or maybe, I don't know, maybe pastel, but I'm pretty much thinking about paint. I did the other one like that. And then fill it with some of the peaches, like right here, but make them a little bit more peachy looking, especially these right here. What I did was I found this kind of clay. And I'm sorry I can't tell you exactly what the name of the clay is or the number that goes with it, because I've had this clay for years. So all I can say is get like a goldish brown type of clay for the dressing. So what I'm going to do is take this dressing. So I have my turkey, the one that I'm going to use. It already baked. So put it there. And I always like my dressing at the end of the turkey. So we're going to take some of this brown dressing, kind of put it around here. Spread it out about like this. So I know my turkey is going to be right here. And so I'm going to need to move this dressing down a little bit more. Thinning it out like that. And so I'm just going to take it and texture it. I'm texturing it, trying to make it look like it's dressing. You can always add paint and make it look more realistic. But I did that because I need to know about where my dressing is going to be. Sometimes it fills up the pan and I might put some around here. But I'm going to take this one out and I'm going to paint it. Okay. First color I want to use is this Golden Sunset. I just want to dip my brush in and get as much off as I possibly can. And I'm going to dry brush it. So I'm going to wipe off as much of this paint as possible. And here we go. I'm definitely going to need more than that. Because this is the base color. And I was assuming that I could just dry brush it like pastel colors, but no, it doesn't work like that. The base color with this acrylic paint needs to be just that, a base color. So when I go over it again, that's the oven. I gotta go get the peach cobbler out. But when I go over it again, then I'm gonna dry brush it with a little bit of brown and try to make it look more realistic. Okay, I'm gonna mess with it some more. As soon as this dry, try to show you how I dry brush it with another color. And then we'll move on. The peach cobbler is done, and you can tell by it's hard. I mean, it's really hard. So all I want to do is make my crust a little bit more brown. So I'm going to use some pastel colors. So just to get it, just a little bit brown. Just scrape some off. Not much. Don't want to paint it. Thought about it, but I changed my mind. And I always just go with my first instinct. So I'm gonna get some of it and then just brush it. I think I want to highlight with a little bit of gold too. So this makes the crust look like it's been browned. Even a little bit on the inside, but I don't want to paint the peaches. Just the inside of the edge. And I always blow the excess off. Then a little bit of gold on there. I want to get a little bit more brown. Try another kind of brown, a little lighter. Just a little bit light, just a tad. Maybe that'll give it a little gold look that I'm looking for. Good thing about these colors is you can just play around with them till you get what you want. See? So I'm going to play with it a little more, and then I'm going to put some triple thick in right here with a few more of the little pieces of peaches, and then let it sit. Everything I'm just going to let sit overnight and bring back to you tomorrow. Okay, so the top of it is pretty much the color that I want. The mistake that I made is I didn't texture the crust. Crust is not smooth, so always texture your crust. And if you notice that on this peach cobbler, it's textured to where this one is not. So texture your food. Makes it look more realistic. Mistake I made, but like I said, this channel is about bringing you the good, bad, and ugly. So that part I messed up on. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to put these next few little pieces in here and just a little bit of triple thick. Alright. These are kind of big, but with peach shape. No. Okay, I'm just going to put one in there. Make you see a peach. And then some triple thick. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so see if we can get it down in there. Here we go. So I'm trying to make sure it's down in there. And I might have to add just a little bit more as it settles. Put it there. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Give it some color. So I took some yellow and just kind of put it in there. Stir it around. Just to give it a little color. Now I'm just going to brush some, get some Mod Podge over it. Give it a little shimmer, but not too much. Wish I would have textured that. Oh well, learn from our mistakes. So I'm taking some Mod Podge, just the matte. Just take a little bit of it. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of Mod Podge and then just brush over the crust. Kind of seal it and give it just a little bit of sheen, not a lot. And this dries clear, so. So if I'd have been thinking, I would have like crimped the edges to make it look more like a pie crust around the edges, but I didn't think to do that. And also, again, texturing. So I'm gonna let this sit overnight, finish up the turkey. Then I'll bring you back to show you the turkeys, and then I'm gonna let you see everything in the morning when it completely dries. And compare it to the food that I made previously. You learn from your mistakes. So let's go for it. Good morning, my Miniatureholic family. Welcome back. It is a beautiful day, and I want to show you the results of my miniature Thanksgiving Day food. All right, so I did make greens. This pot right here to my right is the one that I made years ago, and this one is the one that I made last night. And the difference is this one that I made last night has more liquid in it, more triple thick than this one does. But they both look like real greens. So just literally a plant from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, just cut it up, make sure it's green, and it looks like greens. Just cut it up with some triple thick or, Mod Podge, but triple thick works better. So I like the results. Actually, this one looks more realistic to me. But then again, this one too, because it has more liquid. So yeah, we got the greens. That's something I made. Let's move on. Now we have the macaroni and cheese. This one to my right, I made years ago. This one to my left, I made last night. Now, so I took it out the pot and I put it in the pan because, I wanted baked macaroni and cheese. And I didn't have a good little pot like this one left, so I had to use this little tin pan. And I put a little brown clay on it to kind of make it look like it's baked like this. So this is the difference between the two. I actually like this one better. The first one to me is just, it is something different. But they both look like macaroni and cheese to me. This one could have had a little more yellow. And I'm only telling you this, I'm comparing them because I want you to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you see my mistakes, okay, I'm going to try this route. I like both of them. Again, this one, the first one that I made, that's my favorite. Now, let's go with the candied yams. I did not make a pot of corn. I just want to show you how I made it. And I even made lighter strips of butter to go on it, added some triple thick. The candied yams turned out really nice. I like them. And they were good for Thanksgiving in real lifetime. Okay, let's go with the peach cobbler. The one to my right I made years ago. And this one I made last night. I like them both. I really do. This one I like more because what I did on this one and I didn't do on this one is I textured this one. And that makes a huge difference. Remember I told you, details makes the miniatures. But we have peach cobbler. Now here's the loaf of bread that I made. It's okay, but it's not to my liking. This is not my best work. It really isn't. You see how glossy it is, and then it's really not as detailed as I like. I should have textured it. Texture, Latanya, texture. And it would have made a huge difference. And then I think I should have just used pastel chalk on it instead of painting it. It would have looked more realistic. But you get the gist of how to make it with a mold. Now look up molds, don't forget. I mean, a lot of stuff, like I said, I have, and I don't remember where I get it from. It's been years. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I don't remember everywhere that I get these. But look online. You can find anything. Miniature molds or miniature bread molds. Look on eBay or Etsy. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's compare the turkeys. Yay! This one is the first one that I made. And I like the way I did it because not only did I make a turkey, I cut it to make it look like it was cut in two. Put a little knife over here on this side in the dressing. So I like my little turkey in the oven. I did glue it so it doesn't come off. This turkey right here goes in my grandma's kitchen. Pretty much all the food that I've showed you that I've made years ago is in my grandma's kitchen. Now this one that I made from the mold, it could have been better. Yeah, it could have been better because right here on this side, some of the wing is missing. And the way it's painted, I shouldn't have painted it. I really should have just took my time and painted it with the pastel chalks. It would have looked more realistic because I do have a couple of more like this that I did with the chalks, and it turns out better with the chalks than paint. If you decide you want to paint your turkey, I would do it lightly, like dry brush it, and you really have to take your time because dry brushing you have to do layers. Pastel chalks is way better, easier, looks more realistic, but it would pass. You would have to decorate it, add more coloring. This one right here I like because I freehanded this turkey, but it looks cute. It looks like a turkey. It has a little dent where the turkeys have their head and the neck, and it has the little wings, the little legs, and then the dressing. So yeah, I like this turkey. And when I put the triple thick on it, it actually sticks to the pan. I didn't have to glue it. So that's the turkeys. And that's our Thanksgiving Day dinner. And you can add more stuff. All you do is just imagine what you want. Make sure you get the pans that it would fit into and get the color of the clay. Like say if you want to make a cherry pie, you'd get some red clay and make little balls of cherry. Just make little balls of cherry, lots of them. Make your pie crust, and you kind of get the gist of it. So finally, I didn't get to make, and I'm going to do a separate video because this is going to take more time, is my pot roast. I call it beef stew sometimes because it's the same thing. It's just, the beef stew is cut up and the pot roast is made whole with vegetables. But I'm going to show you how to make each and every one of these vegetables and the meat as well as the gravy. And I do have an extra pot like this. I love these pots. They're so antique looking. Okay, so that's our Thanksgiving Day dinner. And just remember, when you want to make miniature food, just come up with an idea of what you want to make. Get the dish that you want to put it in. Make sure you have the right color of the clay for the food. Some of you may have to mix. Pretty much it. So I want to thank you for joining me. And in the future, I will make more food videos. But I want to get some of the houses out of the way. and maybe some room boxes too. But in between, we'll make food videos. But I'm definitely gonna focus on making a pot roast next. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.